It's no secret that the ACC has been in flux for quite a while. Somebody really important, Dan Wetzel at Yahoo Sports, thinks that Pitt and Louisville both could be coming to the Big 12 sooner than later, and J.J. Quinerly got screwed again.
You are Locked On West Virginia, your daily podcast on the West Virginia Mountaineers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, guys? Welcome back in. My name is Mountaineer Paul. I am your host, and this is Locked On West Virginia. Thanks for joining, guys. I'm going to be brought to you by FanDuel. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. New customers can get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins, but you have to go to FanDuel.com to get started. Thanks for being everyday listeners around here, guys. As the Locked On West Virginia podcast and YouTube channel moves on, it's a crazy time, man, when you talk about the state of college football. Obviously, with everything going on, you can point to so many different directions and areas. You can say, yep, that's screwed up. Yep, that's screwed up. Yep, that's screwed up. It's one thing after the other, whether that's NIL, whether that's, realignment, whether that is rivalries, whether it's travel, money, you can go on and on and on about the things that are wrong with the sport. One of the things that are still right about the sport is the rivalries, when we can get them, and how sweet would it be if we could get two major ones in the Big 12 conference for West Virginia. It's not so far-fetched. Dan Wetzel from Yahoo Sports, who is one of the really more prominent voices in the space on conference realignment, brought up a really good point here the other day, and I'm going to kind of touch base on the article that he has here over on Yahoo Sports. I've got a couple excerpts from some of the things he said in there, and I've broken it down into my own wording. So it's basically, here's what I wrote out of what I read. Dan Wetzel basically suggests that some of the ACC schools, especially those not at the top of the revenue chain, are likely to start considering the other options. He was quoted in saying, "If I'm Louisville or I'm Pittsburgh, how's the Big 12 doing? We need to possibly look at going someplace else where we're going to get better revenue shakes." Potential targets for the Big 12. Wetzel specifically names Louisville and Pitt as schools that might consider leaving the ACCs for the Big 12 due to better financial opportunities. The potential for teams that are dissatisfied with their current deal could lead to movement toward conference offering higher revenue and stability. The ACC's future and teams feeling shortchanged is another part of the article that he touched on, which is the idea that ACC teams, particularly those in the middle or lower revenue brackets, could feel like they've been handed a bad deal here. With the current conference setup, Wetzel mentions that the dissatisfaction is a key factor in future conference realignment movement. Wetzel believes the possibility of these teams leaving could be more than likely over the next 5 years, aligning with future exit plans. He says, quote, "I wouldn't say it's out of the questions for schools that aren't just steeped and loyal to the ACC and may feel like they have been handed a bad deal. Not an immediate shift, but possibly 5 years." I think that's extremely interesting. Absolutely. Could this go down? I think for sure. It's happening. Like we see it right now with the litigation from Clemson and Florida State. Those kind of things. And we know that they matter just a little more than the other teams to the ACC. They bring more viewers. They make more money. It's been said a million times. So I think the Big 12 is in a position to make a play here, especially with the, whether it's who knows what kind of private capital or equity deal we could make in the Big 12 that's been thrown out there. Maybe if you figure out it's some teams like Pitt and Louisville, Virginia Tech maybe are dissatisfied, maybe you do make a play and say, hey, look, we'll take kind of what's the best of maybe the secondary rivalries from the ACC. Maybe it's not Miami, Florida State, but maybe it's Virginia Tech, West Virginia, or Virginia Tech, uh, Pitt, or Louisville, whatever. Um, and we'll go ahead and add that to our already very good brand of rivalries in the Big 12. I think it would be cool. And so I decided I'd make a quick pros and cons list on, in my opinion anyway, some of the pros and cons from all sides on in my opinion, some pros and cons for West Virginia, Big 12, ACC. I think I got ACC on there, and Pitt and Louisville. So I'm just going to read them in the order that I wrote them down here. Adding teams like Pitt and Louisville would definitely solidify the Big 12 as far as the national stage goes, particularly in the East Coast and Mid-Atlantic regions, which would definitely enhance the overall reputation and competitiveness in revenue with TV revenue, guys, because I think that's a big deal, obviously. 2 semi-strong programs with big fan bases that could increase the Big 12's TV revenue, providing more exposure and financial stability to a wider fan base that the Big 12 hasn't been exposed to quite yet that far east, right? I mean, we've got UCF and that's it down that way. Bringing in schools like Louisville and Pitt would extend the Big 12's reach, attracting fans from new regions and creating an overall larger national footprint and following for the conference and geographical expansion in general. The addition of these schools could provide a more geographically diverse conference, which is something I think that all, not super conferences, but conferences just generally are trying to do. We've seen it in the Big Ten. You've seen it sort of in the SEC. Who's going to beat them to the punch and be the third one here that goes coast to coast in a sense? We're pretty much there. And so with the addition of Pitt and Louisville, the competition in the Big 12 would become more challenging. There's no doubt about that, especially in basketball. But also in football, as both those teams have been better than average recently. So, what are some cons? Obviously, there will be logistical challenges, especially for teams like Utah, BYU, Colorado. The geographical footprint would definitely improve for some schools and teams in the Big 12, like West Virginia, especially because it would make an area in the country where we could play ball and not have to travel so much and often. And I think having travel partners is important outside of just Cincinnati. And adding new teams always carries the risk of diluting the overall brand. And I don't think that it would be Pitt and Louisville that would be the ones to do that necessarily. They've got more brand power than a Baylor, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. Now, maybe not in basketball now, but definitely in football. I think maybe I'm just being biased because of the Big East here, but that's my personal opinion. Now, are they better programs today? No. But are they more well-known brands? I would say yes. In this day and age, everybody's well-known. So as far as the ACC goes, it would be trimming the fat, I think, for them, if they feel like maybe they could trim some fat and try to bring in some teams if they want to expand their basketball footprint, like Mike Krzyzewski has talked about with the Big East. Although Louisville's an incredible basketball brand, I mean, maybe something in the football space is what they're more looking to add to here. But I mean, I do think that the end goal, especially if you let Krzyzewski have his way, is going to be basketball centric, and they could possibly turn into another Big East there, which would be kind of worrisome for them. So I don't know. It's hard to know exactly what's going through Phillips' head here. Obviously, we know football drives the bus, but there's a lot more to it. It's so nuanced that I don't know where the cutoff line is sometimes. Where does a team stop being valuable as a football brand and start being valuable as a basketball brand, or vice versa? Those are answers I don't really have. But I do think that these would be awesome additions to the brand. Obviously, in the Big 12, it would be exciting for us as West Virginia fans. I think that it's something that we deserve as West Virginia fans. We have definitely put up with, we did it for a decade. Nobody else had to. We couldn't even get them to put Eastern time zone on the programs every year. We had to petition just to get that. We were forgotten about in every way except for on the field. So I think it would be great for us. I think we deserve it. It's not all about us. I get that. But obviously, this is a West Virginia centric show. So, just my opinion on the matter. Obviously, it's not going to happen overnight, but I do think it's something that could happen. I think the Big 12 is primed and ready to be in the position of power going forward as it stands today, especially with everything going on in the ACC and it looking like maybe they're either going to acquiesce to Clemson and Florida State or they're going to try to get out. So either way, that spells bad news for the ACC, and we just got to hope the Big 12 continues to just plug along, stay out of the limelight. Up next on Locked On West Virginia, guys, I'm mad. I am. I'm really upset for JJ Quinerly, and I got some numbers here. There's no way she shouldn't have won Conference Player of the Year, and I'm going to prove it next. And this episode of Locked On West Virginia is going to be brought to you by Supply House. Of course, we love Supply House. Get the supplies you need from the site made for the skilled trades. Supply House. Whether you're in plumbing, HVAC, or electrical work, Supply House is the reliable way to order products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product info to help you get the job done right. Plus, with a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from 400 top brands, you'll find exactly what you need delivered fast from coast to coast. Need help with an order? Well, Supply House offers expert support and industry-leading advice, service, and everything else you'll need. So you'll always talk to the right person or a real person. And for trade pros looking for an extra edge, their free Trade Master program offers exclusive perks like a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. Don't worry, thousands of skilled professionals are already taking advantage. Now it's your turn. Join the Trade Master program today at supplyhouse.com/TM and start ordering plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies with just a few clicks. Plus, use promo code S-H-5 for 5% off your first order. Do it today and do it at supplyhouse.com. It's segment 2. I don't have a do, but I got a Dr. P. So we'll use that in segment 3 as well. But unfortunately, the conundrum is my mouth is dry by segment 2 because I keep jabbering, jacking my jaws. Okay. So JJ Quinerly won Defensive Player of the Year. So first of all, I want to congratulate her on that. Well deserved. I feel like she's been great for us for a long time now. It seems like she's been a part of the program for 5-6 years now, which is close. I've got the handy dandy notepad out. I jotted some quick notes down before I jumped on today. I should have done more research. I'm not going to lie. This is only about 30 minutes of research here. And she deserves more than that, to be honest. I was struggling to come up with the second topic today, and I totally forgot that I had meant to make this an entire show. So it's not that she doesn't deserve an entire show out of this, because she does. 1,000% she does. I'm going to wait and see what happens with Javon Small, because if he doesn't get it, I'm going to make a whole show out of both of them getting screwed. So I feel like Quinerly was screwed, and here's exactly why. So in her final 2 games, she scored 38 and 31 points. That's number 1. She's the Defensive Player of the Year 2 years in a row. She's 3rd in the conference in scoring. So if you're the 3rd best scorer in the conference and the best defensive player in the conference, can somebody explain this to me like I'm 5? Somebody please explain this to me like I'm 5. We've had JJ on the show here. She's awesome, right? We've had Destiny Agabata on the show. Awesome. Love those girls. And there's truly not a nicer girl than JJ Quinerly. I was shocked at how nice she was just to deal with. Truly just humble, very, very meek. As far as like in personality, she didn't come across strong at all. I'm so mad for her because she earned this, and I get it. This is a team game and all that, but if you're the defensive player of the year and top 3 scorer in the league, I just sometimes I struggle because it's not most popular player. It's not most outstanding player, even though she would win that too. It's most valuable player to your team, right? Haley Van Lith, the social media star, who is also a really good basketball player. Don't get me wrong, although she's transferred everywhere you could think of, from Louisville to LSU to be with Angel Reese, after that to TCU to be with the somebody else that was super popular. I can't remember who it was. And this isn't, I shouldn't be hating on Haley Van Lith here. I'm just mad for JJ. Haley Van Lith scored 17.5 points a game, which wasn't even the best on her team. Sedona Price also, I think they tied for first, or it was like a 0.1 difference. I think one had 17.6, one had 17.5, or they both had 17.6. I can't remember. Either way, you're not the best scorer on your team, She did have 5 assists a game, but JJ was only one behind that. So it's like not some huge deal in my opinion. TCU won the league. So here's my thing with that. So because that's the argument I got from people. Well, they won the league. Fine. But TCU had 3 first-team all-conference players. So you going to tell me they still wouldn't have been in a great position without Van Lith? I think they would have been. I think you can't make that argument for West Virginia. Most valuable player, right? Most valuable player to a team. Find me somebody more valuable to West Virginia than Javon Small or JJ Quinerly. I'm not being biased here. This is real. It's just the situations we're in this year. I can't believe that JJ Quinerly's gotten screwed out over this. It makes no sense. Nobody's more valuable to their team than her, and she deserved this award. And I hope she gives it to them in the tournament. I hope she gives it to all of them in the tournament and shows them all exactly why she's that bitch. My blood pressure's getting up here. I know, I get it. It's just sports, but when you're a West Virginia fan, you're used to being overlooked. You're used to being Stedman Bailey and having 25 touchdowns in a season as a receiver and not even getting close to the Biletnikoff Award. Or how about Tavon Austin in the year he had and didn't win it? He was actually in the running that year, only because he was so special you couldn't overlook it. I got into a fight one time over Tavon Austin. Side note here. So I think I may have told this story once before, but this is another one of my jail stories. I'm sorry. And I always preface it because I know there are a lot of you guys that are here every single day, but there are always new people listening. So I just want to say I have a past that I'm not embellishing or proud of. A lot of times I try to use it as a teaching tool, but I'm making a point about my loyalty to the Mountaineers here. I got in a fight over Tavon Austin, probably 2012, probably 11. Unfortunately I was in prison and not jail here, but he was having that year, and a guy was arguing with me saying that Anthony Thomas was a better player. And I'll never forget, I told him how crazy he was. I said, you must not watch West Virginia. You just only heard about Tavon Austin, because while DeAnthony Thomas was an electric player, he was nowhere near the player that Tavon Austin was. If Tavon Austin was at Oregon, he probably wins the Heisman. So whenever he went 8th in the draft that year, I went and found that guy. I said, hey, guess who just got drafted 8th overall? And he punched me. I was like in shock over it, to be honest, which is why this nose is crooked, because I was always getting in fights. So, I did win the fight, by the way. Just want to point that out. I definitely didn't win all of them, but I won that one because I was mad. he stood up and got me, man. But so I went way off track here, but it's just there's a history with West Virginia players and being absolutely just screwed, man. Let's go to a quick break. 6 seconds. We'll be right back. I always wanted to say like a radio, guys. We'll be right back after station identification. It's segment 3. Let's drink a Dr. P. My mouth is dry. Yes. All right. So do I have anything else on here for the Quinerly thing? No, I guess I don't. But yeah, so I'm glad she won at least something. I mean, defensive player of the year is nothing to sneeze at. Definitely nothing to sneeze at. But I guess I just take it personally for us as fans, right? Like we definitely have been. Kevin Jones being robbed of the Heisman. There you go. There's another one. Of the Big East Player of the Year, of the Heisman. What was I thinking just now? Kevin Jones, Major Harris, Pat White. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of other examples for sure. I don't feel like Pat White necessarily was Heisman worthy, but he should have been in the conversation, and there have been others, like what about Zach Frazier not winning the Remington Award or the any? I don't even know. Did he win any offensive line awards? Just incredible, man. Just we're used to it. We're definitely used to it. So it is what it is, though. We got somebody in the chat that thinks it's funny I was in jail. Brad Boo. I wonder who that could be. Somebody that made up a new profile just to come on here and give me clicks. Oh, man. What I've been hearing, the last couple of days have been wild, man. I got some mail today from somebody. I wasn't going to talk about this, but I guess I will. I got mail today from somebody threatening me. And yes, I have given my address out at times in the past. It was a long time ago. Unfortunately, those things live forever. When you've only got 100 views, you don't think it's ever going to matter. I have now deleted that video, but yeah, I put my address out to somebody like in the very beginning, and somehow it's the only way I can think that this person found my address. But I'm not going to give a lot of details out here, but somebody said that they would see me at the games and sent me a letter. So, I can't believe some people, the links they'll go to, like they actually went and took time out of their day to, I don't know, maybe went and bought some postage stamps. Maybe they dropped their kids off to school. Maybe they just got out of school themselves from the way they're acting. Maybe they're kids. I don't know. But, to actually just send somebody some hate mail, I guess you've made it when you get hate mail, right? Obviously I don't mean that. But, so just weird behavior. I want to get it on record just in case something does happen to me. That'll be, I know that sounds silly, but you just never know these days what people are thinking. So that's it though. I don't want to linger on that very long. Thank you guys for joining. The Big East thing, the remaking of the Big East would be fun with Pitt and Louisville. That would be something I'd be so excited if it actually happened. To play Pitt and Louisville every year would be a dream come true. Now, I would obviously rather have Virginia Tech there, but Louisville would be like right there, because just we have history with them too. So I'm definitely for sure interested in them. There's no doubt about it. So, yeah. And then moving on from that to the Quinerly thing, I think, I think she's going to show out in the tournament, Big 12 and otherwise. And we'll see her hopefully making some people eat crow. They almost beat Iowa last year. Let's see what happens here because this is a good basketball team. They play good defense. They've got good players. They can go on a run. This isn't going to be the Big 12 every game in the tournament. So let's see what this Mountaineer team does, guys. I think they got a shot to go deep. Let's see what happens. And I'll see you guys on the next one, guys. Not a whole lot else to say except thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one. By the way, thanks for making Locked On West Virginia your first listen. If I could ask you for a favor, like the video, subscribe if you're new around here, drop a comment below and let me know your opinions on the show. Let me know what you think about the first topic, the second topic, and any other topics you want to talk about. If you have a question for me, I'll definitely answer it in the comments below. And if you want to join the Discord, I do have a Discord where we talk. There's several dozen of us that talk during games, after games, just randomly throughout the day. If you want to get in contact with me for any reason, if you want to send me anything, people send me stuff a lot. Whatever you want to do, just hit me up and I'll definitely get in touch somehow. Guys, check out Locked On College Basketball. Isaac Shate and Andy Patton. Don't want you to wait for March. Be the most informed college basketball fan now. Do it. Find Locked On College Basketball on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. And I'll see you on the next one. Have a great day. This episode's over. And I'm out of here.